So is this a presidential debate or the Jerry Springer show? You mean like this? Or like this? You must mean this.
TikTok is not only spyware, it is polluting the minds of American young people all throughout this country. And they're doing.
So I uploaded a video about a month ago. It's called "Social Media is Not Evil." It basically goes over every media since books up to this point of people saying the exact same thing that Christy just said. So I'm not going to rehash the whole thing because I already made a short documentary about it before this whole debate even existed. So check it out. I'll put the link down in the description. Let's go back to Knucklehead.
In my first week as president, we would ban TikTok. They want to go ahead and sell it. Let them go ahead and sell it.
So don't worry about that because this dickhead has about as big a chance as being president as I do.
Dad of a 6'5" and a 3-year-old, I'm concerned about the data that they're getting from our young people and what they're doing to pollute the minds.
Oh, DeSant toes. How fitting we're watching you today as I have my Santa hat on and your DeSant toes. Yeah, I don't think DeSant toes has a chance in hell to be president either. He's kind of wacky, and I'm sure if you've been following the news, not necessarily even the mainstream news, as I know I'm showing headlines from it. He's a wacky dude. So, yeah, he's not going to be president either.
What we should do is ban TikTok, period. Now, we saw under former President Trump, he tried to ban TikTok twice, but was struck down by our federal courts. If you cannot ban TikTok, you should eliminate the Chinese presence on the
And I have zero idea who this guy is. Tim Scott. I never heard of him until just right now. So where did he come from? Okay, dude, whatever you say. We don't know who you are, so good luck. All right, well, now we're going to go to all my blabbling. Hey, gals and guys, it's Chris Mosier from MyMediaHelper.com, and I wanted to talk about this time out TikTok and this Republican presidential nonsense that's going on, or debate, I mean. This is not a political channel. I don't think I'm intelligent enough to go into a full political debate. I know enough to be dangerous. I don't particularly watch the mainstream media news. I watch a lot of YouTube with interviews from people across the world just to get an idea of what their culture is and what they think about their governments and everything. I basically get my information from just people like myself who are out there doing real or actually out there doing real news. And there's a whole bunch of them on YouTube, way better than the mainstream media, certainly, be it CNN or Fox News. I am a registered Republican. The Republican Party to what was when I registered to what it is now are two totally different things. So, say Kennedy was a Democrat, and so the government that the way when John F. Kennedy was president is that Democrat Party is way different than what we have for Democrat Party today. So I would consider myself more of a moderate, really, than a Republican, just leaning a little more to the right. And as far as these knuckleheads are concerned, I'm not voting for any of them. DeSantos, DeSantos I know of, and Christie's been around forever. And the debate is should they not have TikTok show up in the United States, ban TikTok from the United States, and it's absolutely a ridiculous thing. I use TikTok on a regular basis. As you may or may not know, here's my TikTok channel. And I just posted this today about the Marines. And they're talking about like propaganda, Chinese propaganda, and terrorist propaganda being put on TikTok. But that you could look at this, the Marines that I just put up, Marines' birthday is today, and that could be considered, I suppose, propaganda by people overseas. It's not. I mean, we're just celebrating the U.S. Marines' birthday today, the 248th birthday, but others could look at that and say, oh, that's propaganda. So this is what they're against here. So I pulled up some of these. Let me find the correct one. So, like, all right, the Holocaust didn't happen. Posts like this. all right, there's people in the United States who say the exact same thing. There's people in the United States who think the Earth is flat. There's people in the United States that think UFOs are real. There's people in the United States that think we never went to the moon. So that's not anything new. There's something about like the Twin Towers were down by the Jews or something like that. The real story of Black America. Why does this offend anyone? Star of David has satanic origin. If you know in your heart that these things are not true, and you can find the same bullshit on Twitter, X now, whatever genius thought that up, and Facebook, you can find the same misinformation bullshit on there. It's just people's perspectives, people's bad senses of humor, or just people's stupidity. I mean, take a pick, but you can't ban against people's stupidity because it's been there way before social media has ever been around. So anti-Semitic posts on here, take them as you will. They're not any different than any type of racism that's been around, or sexism or homophobia. You pick. There's always going to be a group of people that hate another group of people. That's been true since humanity existed. You're not going to shield anyone from that. We all know it's stupid. A majority of the population of the world know that's incorrect and not right and stupid, but you always got that 1%, 2%, whatever percent you want to label it, that are always going to hate someone that doesn't look like them or someone who is different than them. It's a human fact. It's not going to go away by banning TikTok. So I got a bunch of links up here that I was doing a quick research before I did this video. So I'm not voting for any of these knuckleheads, and I'm not voting for Trump if he's on the ticket. I did once upon a time, and not that he was an overly terrible president. He just has a big mouth and he doesn't know how to keep it shut, and his ego, he doesn't know how to keep it in check. I mean, all the nonsense overseas now with Israel and the Ukraine would not be happening right now if Trump was in office, just because they would be probably afraid of him because he's a knucklehead and a nut to what he would do. And just to show you, he was against the industrial military complex. So he's against profiteering towards war. He's not against the U.S. military, Trump. He's just against people profiteering off war. And that's why we have wars, because companies who are contracted with the United States make lots and lots and lots and lots of money. Now, you can say, Chris, that's a conspiracy on your part, and maybe you're right. Maybe you're correct, but that's how I feel. If you look at this, Donald Trump has never started any war in his administration. He's the only president not to start a new war during his administration. So hate him to death, love him to death. That's a fact. And now we have 2 wars overseas. We have a knucklehead president who left all our vehicles and our weapons in Afghanistan because he evacuated, and all our military, I mean, not all our military equipment, right? A lot of our military equipment stayed there. And who is going to get that military equipment? Now is probably being used by some terrorist group. So who the hell knows? Let me get rid of this just to narrow this down. What did I bring? Okay, so I just wanted to say, yeah, Trump was also against TikTok. And there was something in here, automatically captures, that I wanted to bring up. I think it's as far as misinformation that was on this particular one, but Facebook and TikTok do the same exact thing. So I think that's why I left that up. But Trump's not the innocent person here either. He wanted to, he brought up the threat that is TikTok, and they wanted to regulate it or ban it or whatever the case may be. So I'm not saying he's an innocent party in this thing. And I just kind of I said all that stuff just to put everything in context, put me in context, and put the whole situation in context to where all these people are coming from. So I also looked up, let's see, Zuckerberg. Elon. Let's talk about Elon Musk and Zuckerberg. First off, yeah, Zuckerberg. Meta, or Facebook, was sued. There's a $725 million settlement because Facebook gave away people's information. They're worried about TikTok having people's information. But yet Facebook, it got sued for $720 million for doing the exact same thing. No one's going after Facebook. The government's not going after Facebook. So that's just hypocrisy right there. Well, Zuckerberg gives to, he doesn't give to parties. He gives to 2 nonprofit organizations that siphon out the money to parties. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole to see where they're giving the money to. What I read is a lot of it is to getting voters to the voting booth. I can't say if it's Republicans. I can't say if it's Democrats. So I can't say exactly where he leans. He doesn't give to either party. He gives to two nonprofits that give to either party. So take that as you will, and I'm not going to do any more investigation on that. So he's neutral as far as that's concerned. As far as Facebook's concerned, he's a hypocrite because his company got sued. So I don't know if he's against Twitter or not, Zuckerberg. So I didn't look that up or anything. Did not directly to. Okay, right here. Zuckerberg did not directly donate to Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. He didn't make direct donations. Conservatives have criticized the donation due to suspicion that the money aided Democrats. Who's to say? They can say whatever they want, the Republicans or the conservatives. Okay, so that's why I brought that up. Okay, Elon Musk. I just wanted to see who these people donated to because the government's not necessarily going after your Twitter or your X or the Facebook, right? Because they're in the United States and they donate to campaigns. That's what I was trying to get. That was the point I was trying to make. So let's see. An interview to Washington Post, Musk stated he was a significant donor to the Democrats, but he also gives heavily to the Republicans, which is smart because if you're lobbying in Washington, you want the ear of both parties. So you kind of want to be neutral in that sense. So I can't tell you if Musk is more of a Democrat or a liberal or more of a conservative Republican. I can't. But I just wanted to bring up to actually who he's donating to. Now there is lobbying as far as TikTok is concerned. Now TikTok is made up of. I want to see if I could find it. TikTok is not owned by who you think. I think it's on another page. So this ByteDance, whatever the hell that is, ByteDance, is based in Beijing, but registered in the Cayman Islands, is commonly privately owned Chinese companies. Chinese government doesn't directly own TikTok, but may indirectly influence its operation. Who's to say? I would say the same is true for Facebook and X, Twitter at a certain level, because these people, I'm sure, people in Washington and the people that own these companies, I'm sure they have dialogue with each other. So I'm sure there's some type of influence there. I can't prove that, obviously. TikTok short video, 3 seconds, 10 minutes. I'm trying to find where. Okay, here it is right here. Is this it? TikTok was founded by Chinese entrepreneurs, but roughly 60% of the company is beneficially owned by global institution investors such as Carlyle Group, General Atlantic, Susquehanna International Group. There's somewhere it says, let's see if I can find it. Okay, right here, ByteDance. The Chinese parent company of TikTok has dramatically increased its U.S. lobbying efforts since 2020. ByteDance says 60% of its shares are owned by non-Chinese investors, such as U.S. investment firms Carlyle Group and Kohlberg Kravis Roberts and Japan's SoftBank Group. So what's the deal with them, and what's the real story behind this Republican debate and these people trying to shut down TikTok? What is the real story behind it? There's always some hidden agenda, obviously, in Washington politics. So employees own 20% and its founder remaining 20%. But to watch the debates, to watch the news, you would think Chinese owns the fucking company. And they don't. China, sorry, owns the fucking company. The Chinese government owns the company, and they do not. All right, let me close that. The Ukraine war, I was just bringing that up because no wars were started when Trump was in office. Just want to make sure I get through all these. So we do lobby, we do lobby. TikTok does lobby in Washington. This motherfucker, do you ever think this bastard has been on TikTok? Do you ever think he's used TikTok? He's not going to ban fast food restaurants. Let me tell you, Christy. Okay, that was the debate. And what did I bring this up for? What hearing me? Oh, they also said, where's this other thing? This other bullshit. Okay, Republican candidates also cited anti-Semitic content in Chinese. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that. Where was the? Oh, here it is right here. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He is concerned about what TikTok is doing to pollute the minds. It's always about the young. It's always about the children. Oh, it's always video games, movies, television, any media that you can think back. Comic books, right? There was a book about comic books, getting rid of comic books, and it's always about the children. What a political scummy move to get votes. They always bring the children into it. It's always, oh, the children. It's going to hurt the children. It's not going to hurt the children at all. I see TikTok. I see what's posted on there. It's a lot of it's comedy, a lot of it's fun stuff, a lot of it's girls with their boobs jumping up and down, with their cleavage hanging out. A lot of that stuff. There's no anti-Semitism. It's just a bunch of kids doing weird things. And I did a whole video about how media, and I'll link it in this video, how media has distorted through the years since television to always say it's going to hurt the minds of kids. So it's been television, radio, comic books, video games, movies. Did I say television? Video games, the internet, social media. So it's always the children. It's always going to pollute the minds of the children through 100+ years of our history. That bullshit's been going on, and politicians have been using that bullshit to get elected. All right, guys and gals, this was just a rant because I saw this and it pissed me off. Republicans piss me off right now, and if it's Trump and Biden when it comes next November, I am just going to sit home and drink coffee. I think because unless there's a third party that jazzes me, maybe Kennedy. I don't exactly know what his platform is, so I'll have to do some research on that. But yeah, if it's Biden, Trump, have a party, y'all. Go to the booth and vote your conscience, and I'm sitting home and not voting and all. That's my voice. My voice is I don't want either of them. All right, gals and guys, I'm sorry. I don't normally talk politics on this channel, and I'm sure I pissed somebody off, which is fine. I try to piss someone off at least once a day. It's good for your diet. Please subscribe. Please subscribe, like, share this if you feel the need, and hit the bell to update for updates. And I promise next video we'll be back to the normal goofiness that I do. All right. I appreciate y'all, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. We all want the same thing. We just all see different ways to get to the same destination. Different paths to the same destination is what I see. But pretty much when you get down to the root of humanity, especially in my country, we're pretty much fundamentally the same type of people. We all want the same thing. We all want our kids to be safe, and we all want to love and so on, and have a good life, and love thy neighbor and all that stuff. All right, I think I've been babbling enough. You get my point, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.